and today we are going to talk about event marketing and logistics. My name is MJ Clements. I'm a senior operations consultant here at Diamond Accelerator, and today we're going to be walking you through how to operationally and through a marketing perspective execute a seamless revenue driving event. So joining me, I always like to joke, is my work wife. This is Julie. You guys have seen her before. You all know and love her. And Julie and I work very closely together with clients that we share. And Julie handles everything on the marketing side, and I handle everything on the operations side. And together, you guys, we have a proven track record of event success. Julie and I have been able to repeatedly generate up to $175,000 in event revenue in just a single day. So today, you guys are getting kind of an inside look into kind of how we tackle these things together, and you're getting both sides of the equation, how to plan it, how to execute it, and how to make sure that the room is packed with patients that are ready to say yes and make purchases without hesitation. Because one of the biggest things we need to remember is that events are not parties. They're not just random celebrations. All of them should be seen as sales events. So without further ado, Julie, I get to see you shine every single day. So I would love it if you could please take a moment to introduce yourself and please really brag about yourself. Please do not hold back, because I get to see how you sprinkle your awesome sauce on all of our clients every day.
I think what makes us such a strong team is that when we pull operations and marketing together, the results are amazing. So we've seen practices generate six-figure days from single events. Event marketing is one of my favorite strategies to scale quickly. And I also guide practices in building consistent year-round growth, converting leads into loyal patients, optimizing performance, streamlining systems, so no opportunities slip through the cracks. And I'm so excited for us to share these strategies with you guys today and show you how the marketing and operations work hand in hand.
I love it. So we understand the importance of, you have to have both sides. You have to have marketing, you have to have operational preparedness. But let's think about kind of the elephant in the room and why these events matter so much, because they really, really do. They will make a huge impact to your bottom line. So events are going to be one of your highest ROI strategies for patient engagement. Events are going to build trust, drive same-day revenue. They're going to strengthen long-term loyalty. But the truth is, success is 50% on how you market it and 50% on how well you are able to operationally execute it. You will hear us talk a lot about that today. So if one side is missing, either if marketing is missing and no one shows up, or if your operational preparedness is non-existent, the event is going to feel chaotic. So the opportunity is ultimately lost. So today, let's break down really the operational side first. So let's talk about what that operational preparedness is going to look like. So the first thing that we like to do right away is create an event planner and a timeline. So we need to create a document that is a live document. Everyone is able to see it. Your social media team, your marketing team, your operations consultant. And this event planner is going to map out every single step from months in advance to planning and even post and follow-up initiatives. And this is going to include timeline for marketing launches, the requests that we're going to have for reps, who is donating what are our raffles, what are our promotions, what are our staff assignments, what do we need to order. So it's really important to kind of get all of your thoughts on this event planner right away, so that way everyone knows that this is our home base to plan this event. The second thing to be operationally prepared is you need to reach out to your vendors and your reps right away. I can't tell you how many clients of Julie and mine who will come to me and they will say, oh yeah, I'll reach out to them. I'll reach out to them. And time just comes along and they're booked. They're going to another event, or they don't have any car stock to support you, or they haven't put together a raffle basket, or their budget for supporting with food and beverages has already been depleted. So reach out to your reps early. They can always provide you with raffle items, product support, hands-on demos. And this is going to save your budget, and it's going to really increase your event's value for your attendees. So when they give you raffles, when they give you free tips to give away, it's really going to help incentivize spend. And they're also your best salespeople. I always tell you, put your reps out on the floor and let them sell. No one really knows the devices and the services better than they do. So let them sell and let them work for you for the day. So, when we're talking about your rep selling, you also need to really solidify your team's roles and what their workflow is. Nothing irritates me more than when my practice owners are like, yep, my team knows what to do. We do this every year. They know where to go. And I'm like, okay, tell me. And they're like, well, they just kind of like float around. No, no, we like to be prepared. So I want to know where everyone is going to be stationed. Where is our front desk going to be? Are they going to be at check-in? Do we have a checkout? Do we have front desk at checkout? Do we have an esthetician at the retail counter? Do we have one injector floating and having conversations and one injector maybe, somewhere else? We need to have people stationed. So I want you to assign specific responsibilities. So leadership is going to be keeping the flow organized and stepping in where needed. Support staff is going to be handling payments, booking follow-ups, managing traffic flow, and things like that. So when we're talking about traffic flow, another thing that Julie and I love to implement is some type of engagement strategy. Because what I've noticed with events, you might have patients come in, and if they feel bottlenecked at the retail counter or in the lobby and they don't really know where to go and there's no one really for them to talk to, they might get like a plate of food and then feel a little bit awkward and decide to leave. So I like to implement engagement strategies. And one of my favorite things to do is implement a passport. So it looks just like a passport. You'll come in and you'll go to each and every team member station. They'll have to initial the passport. If they get all of the spaces initialed, then they get entered to win an additional raffle ticket. So that gets them, the whole goal of it is one, it's interactive and it's fun, but it gets them moving throughout the practice and we're not bottlenecked there in the lobby. So that's something that we love to implement for as an engagement strategy. And you have to plan this out. You have to plan how to keep guests engaged. So I want you to think about like live demos, the passport that I just outlined, raffle drawings every 30 minutes, maybe patient testimonials. I love a good live patient testimonial, or even like a treatment station. We were doing hand facials or something like that for patients to actually feel and experience. So let's kind of summarize that. Best practices, build an event planner that everyone has access to. And you guys, I literally mean half hour by half hour. I want you to plan exactly, okay, 9:30 we're doing this, 10 o'clock we're doing this, and who is responsible for what. And I want you to practice the workflow the day before, reach out to your reps months before, make sure you have your follow-up process defined, plan your engagement strategies, and train your team on the packages and the promotions that are available. So that is a little taste of how to get operationally prepared.
MJ, I love how you broke down the operational side because success really is 50-50. If you've got the logistics but no marketing, no one shows up. If you've got the marketing but no structure, the event does feel chaotic. So let's talk about how to fill the room and keep the momentum going before and after the event. So one of the first things is the pre-event timeline. So MJ mentioned having an event planner and a timeline, and you'll see that everything that MJ just talked about, I'm going to tie it all in with the marketing side. So with the event plan or the event planner doc, that's where everything starts with the marketing side. So you want all of the details finalized at least 8 weeks out prior to your event. Attendance incentives, promos, vendors, raffles, so we can build up the ads, prep social media, and schedule all the emails and texts to go out. And one of the things that I do like to do is split the campaigns with text and email blasts between VIPs and general lists. So your VIPs are your top spenders, your members. Those are already pre-qualified attendees because you know that they already spend with you. And then your general list, we want to kick that out at least 4 weeks prior to the event and using messages like urgency messaging, like spots are filling fast. We want to do your paid ads. I recommend launching paid ads a minimum of 3 weeks out. These are great for capturing new faces who aren't already on your list. And we want to keep them simple and eye-catching. We want to highlight the event date, the top raffle prizes, event-only specials. Paid ads work best when they drive directly to an RSVP link, so you're not just getting awareness, you're also getting names and numbers that so you can follow up with them. Adding pop-ups on your website, another big thing. So you want all of your pieces to kind of tie together and work for you. One quick story I have is, I had a client who was hosting her very first event ever. She was nervous about the turnout. She was planning a big party. So we made the decision to stick tightly to a timeline and get all the details finalized that 8 weeks out. And, the marketing was launched in 6 weeks and her coordinators were actively working the RSVP list. And because we gave ourselves that extra runway, she ended up with over 200 RSVPs. And here's the part that I love the most. She had her patient coordinators. They weren't sitting around and sitting on those names. They were actually calling and pre-qualifying and securing purchases ahead of time. So by the time the doors opened, she already had $80,000 in pre-sales before her event even happened. And then on the day of the event, because everything was so well structured, both operationally and on the marketing side, guests felt excited, prepared, and ready to buy. So she brought in an additional $70,000 in sales that same day. So for a first ever event, that's incredible. And it really proves that events don't just have to be overwhelming or risky when you plan ahead. You're not just hoping people show up, you're filling a room and generating revenue before the event even starts. So one of the other things that MJ talked about was engagement during the event. So raffles, live demos, testimonials, we start building the engagement before with event teasers. So these don't need to be like, polished content. We want authentic clips of raffle prizes, swag bags, providers saying, we can't wait to meet you. Shot lists make things so much easier, and 10 seconds of a prize table or a countdown reminder or a treatment preview. The best part is you can repurpose all of this stuff across multiple channels. The same 30-second clip can go to Instagram Reels. It can go to Facebook. It can be trimmed down and added to stories, added to with an RSVP link. One piece of content can do the work of four. So it's all how everything ties together. And then driving urgency. So to maximize RSVPs, every message needs urgency in emails, in texts, languages like only a few spots left, reserve now to claim your swag bag. I found that urgency often works with perks. So adding rewards behind the first 25 to RSVP, get some kind of gift, or offering a bring a friend bonus that feels exciting instead of pushy. So don't underestimate the exclusivity in phrases like event only pricing. Your chance to win that Louis Vuitton bag. These convert and they highlight what's unique about the event. Another piece is promoting the day of the event. MJ has stressed assigning roles, and that applies to marketing too. If you don't have someone assigned to handle social media posting and capturing content, it usually doesn't get done. So the key is assigning someone to own this. If it's everyone's job, it's no one's job, and it won't get done. So having a dedicated team member whose role is solely capturing and posting content so the team can focus on patients is super important. And before the doors open, have them capturing quick teasers, short stories of walkthroughs, the prize table, reels of swag bags, behind the scenes of the staff getting ready. These posts set the tone and make people online think, I'm not missing the next one. So once the event's underway, we want to keep the posting. We want to do the live raffle drawings. We want short clips of treatment demos, stories of guests mingling, staff interacting with patients. And here's why this matters. All of the content becomes your post-event highlight reels, your thank you posts, your recap emails. Plus it shows non-attendees exactly what they missed. And that FOMO is what's gonna make your RSVP list fill up even faster on the next one. And it doesn't just stop there. We have the post-event marketing, and MJ said it best. The fortune is in the follow-up. And on the marketing side, here's what that looks like. It's recaps of the content, highlight reels, winner spotlights, thank you posts, and from the owner and the team. And then you have your segment follow-up. So thanking attendees who did come, reaching out to no-shows, letting them know we missed you, and offering 1 week of extended event-only pricing. That second chance can often drive major post-sales events. So, and then you also don't want to forget the fence sitters, the patients who almost bought during the event. A personal phone call or a follow-up can extend pricing and turns maybes into yeses. So this is where events go beyond just that one night, and it's creating a ripple effect that keeps revenue coming in after the chairs are stacked and the doors are closed.
Yeah. And Julie, you said something that really just stood out to me. You mentioned that when everything is dialed in, your patients feel that. Your guests at your event are going to be excited, like they feel like you guys are prepared. And I have been to more med spa events than I can count. And I mean, probably in the hundreds at this point. And I just went to one a few weeks back. And that really sticks out to me because it was a back to school event. And when there was a line out the door, I could see through the window that they were still putting together their balloon arch. The tablecloths weren't on the table yet. They were scrambling. A girl had curlers in her hair. And I couldn't help but think to myself, like, ooh, that could have been very easily avoided. And this wasn't a client of mine. This was a local med spa that I was stopping into. And I just couldn't help but in the back of my brain say, this could have been so easily avoided. The first thing that that tells me is their manager or their practice owner did not block off their calendar. You have to be operationally prepared to block off your team's calendar. If you're going to start when it's still business hours, you have to block them off so that your team has time to freshen up, to get ready. If they are the ones that are setting up the event, they need time to do both of those things. And that could have been so easily avoided if they would have used an event planner, blocked off the calendar on the EMR, and made that conscious decision. Because there's that push and pull that I'll have with practice owners pretty frequently with events. And if we start during business hours, they're like, well, let's stagger it. I don't want to stop revenue and I don't want to block calendars so that way we can't book appointments. And you need to decide, do you want your team to be prepared? Do you want the event to be successful so that they have time to freshen up, get everything ready, take a deep breath before all the guests come in? So blocking off your calendar is actually giving your team the preparedness that they need to be able to close sales to guests that are lining up past the door. So please, again, be operationally prepared and block off your team's calendar on the EMR. That's why you want to plan weeks and months in advance so that way they feel comfortable. And we keep driving this point home that operations and marketing for events and in practices, even aside events, they work hand in hand. You don't just have an event. You have a sales engine, and marketing is going to drive new patients to the door, and the operational piece of it is going to make sure that everything flows smoothly and revenue is really maximized. And I love to do event training specific, sales event specific training. So that way your patients and, can understand the information that your providers are going to give them because they're giving them correct. It's authority building verbiage. They know the packages, they know the promotions, they know the memberships, they know how to handle objections, they know the discounts for that event. So I like to step in and do those trainings specifically for that event. So that way we know that our team is ready to execute on these sales. And again, Julie, your patients, like you said, are going to feel that. They're going to know if they're stumbling and looking through papers and looking at the discounts or promotions for that day, or if they're asking what the raffle items are and they don't know. So please be operationally prepared and set up those trainings for your team so that way they're knowledgeable and they can kind of speak with that authority building verbiage that you hear me talk about so often here.
Yeah. And when you promote well and deliver an amazing experience because everybody's so prepared and ready to go, your guests are going to feel that and they're going to become your biggest ambassadors. And that's how events compound their value. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And you will hear us, especially if you're clients of ours already, we say this a lot. Events are not excuses to celebrate, or they're not parties. They should be sales driven events. And here at Diamond, we have a sales event blueprint that really highlights step by step of exactly what you need to do to have a sales driven event and not just a party. We don't want you guys investing in catering and buying a bunch of drinks and a bunch of decorations and renting all of these things and coordinating with different vendors. We want it to be a sales event. So I think one of the biggest tips that I like to give my clients is they'll always come, when we're planning the event and they'll say, "Oh, one of my friends does permanent jewelry and I could bring in this small boutique so that they can set up a pop-up." And while I love a good B2B relationship, don't get me wrong. I don't want, you guys to think that I don't love those types of partnerships because I absolutely do. But here is what I do not want to happen. I don't want your patients to be at your practice for an event and have any other excuse to spend money that is not with your practice. If they have to pay to buy any of the clothing items at the boutique pop-up, or if they have to pay to get the permanent jewelry, or if they have to pay to be a part of like this photo booth, whatever that looks like, I do not want revenue going anywhere else besides my med spa practice owner's pocket for the event that day. So be very cautious. I always like to do trade for service. If you want to bring in and foster that B2B relationship, absolutely, let's do it. But let's talk to the permanent jewelry practice owner where we'll say, okay, Give us a limit of $2,500. Bring what you can, and we will do a trade for service. So if you want to do any services here, you have a $2,500 cap, and that's what we'll cap our patients at. Or better yet, offer just that services with the $2,500 credit you have just to your members. Create an urgency or an incentive to join your membership that day. So that way they can go home with a membership bag that you're going to give them, a permanent jewelry bracelet. But all of that to say, do not give your patients any opportunity to spend anywhere else besides in your practice. So don't bring in those vendors and don't oversaturate that opportunity. So in essence, number one, if you have not already seen our sales event blueprint, please drop a comment here in the chat box and we will make sure to get that to you. Um, you know, I really hope your key takeaways from the operational side, that is you always want to start with that detailed event planner and timeline and really stick to it. Do not divert away from it. Secure your rep support very early on for raffles. Don't sleep on communicating with your reps. Assign your clear roles for every single team member and make sure they are trained and they are knowledgeable on what promotions are there that day. And keep your guests engaged with interactive elements. So implement the passport. Another fun thing that I've done in the past is a scavenger hunt. I did this with a plastic surgeon a few weeks ago. We printed out little pictures of his face, and he's a funny guy, and we put them all over the practice. And if you could find 10 of them, that you got entered into an additional raffle. He's been around for like 35 years, so he's done it all. The passports, every interactive, like a Scrabble game, he's done it all. So that was fun to do a scavenger hunt with him, and his patients loved it. They just loved it. And please have a structured follow-up plan so that you have a clear roadmap to convert this excitement about your event into actual revenue.
Yeah. One of the things I forgot to mention, and what I love about the passport process, is it also gives you the opportunity to track attendance. So if they're filling out this passport throughout the event, and then at the end they're turning it in with their name and their phone number and their email on it, it does help you track attendance to help support with the follow-up process after the event. So some takeaways I hope you take from the marketing side is promote early, promote often. So be prepared, have everything finalized and ready to be laid out in the marketing plan. Use video and social proof, create urgency and offer with offers and RSVP deadlines, attendance incentives, showcase your event after. It's marketing fuel for months to come. And, you're going to have a successful event.
Absolutely. And I also want to empower you too. Julie, how many times do we hear this when we're like, okay, we're talking to our clients, it's time, let's start planning an event? That fear mindset that they live in. And there's always a laundry list of excuses. We hear this every day of, oh, I don't think I have enough team members. We're operating on a skeleton crew, or, my reps aren't very supportive. And that's really the thing. There's support out there. And if you are operationally prepared, don't have a fear mindset. Step into that event. And if you aren't confident to have an event like that, you could be risking missing out on $175,000. So
Yeah.
take that into consideration of your, end of your overhead. There's opportunities everywhere with events. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys joining us. This is always my favorite time of the week. You can catch us here, same time, same place on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we will see you next week.